Hi, my name is Sean Kramer of the University of New Hampshire, and I'll be talking about the taxonomies of software security attacks. This was based on an article published in 2005 by 3 researchers who utilized MITRE's common weakness enumeration to classify types of software attacks based on how they were implemented and what they targeted. This presentation will focus on attacks that affect embedded systems by targeting weaknesses in the C and C++ programming languages. So the first is input validation and representation. This occurs when the product does not validate or incorrectly validates input that can have an effect on control flow or data flow of a program. For instance, an attacker would be able to craft an input in a form that is not expected by the application, which deviates from its original control flow into some unpredictable pathway. Types of these attacks are out-of-bounds write, out-of-bounds read, integer overflows, or command injection. The second type is API abuse. Now, the API is a sort of contract between the callee and the caller, and most times the API abuse occurs when the caller does not honor its end of the contract. For instance, if the callee is to return trustworthy information to the caller, but the caller makes certain assumptions about this behavior, which can lead to restrictions or leakage of important data. Examples of these types of attacks are directory restriction, heap inspection, unchecked return values, or misuse of authentication, file system, or privilege management. The third type is security features. Now, software security does not necessarily mean security software. So this taxonomy deals with authentication, confidentiality, cryptography, etc. And types of these exploits are least privilege violation, privacy violations, or weak cryptography. Fourth is time and state. Now, and this deals with distributed computing, which means for multiple devices to communicate with each other, states must be shared, which takes time. And these attacks take advantage of this time difference between the sharing of information. So unexpected interactions between threads, processes, time, and information are of utmost importance, and shared states meaning semaphores, variables, and file systems. Types of these attacks are insecure temporary files or race conditions such as signal handling and time of check, time of use. Next is code quality. Now, code quality doesn't necessarily relate to faults in the programming language itself, but more along the lines of sloppy programming practices by a developer, which leads to unpredictable behavior and poor usability. Types of these attacks are code correctness, double free errors, memory leakage, or null pointer dereferences. Lastly is encapsulation. Now, encapsulation is revealing data or debugging information to unwanted eyes. So if this information leads through an output stream or a logging function to a console or a log file, and an attacker is able to gain access to this, they can learn about the system and formulate a better plan of attack. Now, the error messages precisely tell attackers what sort of attack the system will be vulnerable to. And the problem is that developers have no way of knowing where this information may end up being displayed. There are 2 main types of this exploit. The information leak can be either internal or external. Thank you.